G'day new starters, here we are again. My wife and I find ourselves having a lot more Saturday nights alone together these days than what we have in years gone by. Saturday night was always our movie night. When the kids would gather, we'd make popcorn and we'd watch a movie together. But of course, as our kids have grown older and two of them have moved out of home and the other two are busy with their own lives, we find ourselves sitting on the couch on Saturday nights many times wondering what we'll do. So last night we decided to watch a movie together for ourselves. We've done that a few times. We watched About Time, which came out I guess about 12 months ago or so, and it's a little romantic comedy, and it is based on a premise not too deeply thought through, of an individual whose family line has the capacity to travel in time through their lifetime. And so the story is about this young man who is then, as a result of this discovery, trying to build a perfect life. And so when things go wrong, he tries to go back and fix them. And in fixing one, it's a classic time travel thing. In fixing one, the impact can impact another thing. And ultimately, towards the end of the movie, his discovery is the truth that living in the moments now, seeing the wonder of the moment, seeing love expressed, seeing the worth of individuals being expressed in the moment, in the smiles, in the little dance steps that a person might take when they're happy, that's what makes life rich. And he calls his life at the end his extraordinary, ordinary life. And it is a feel-good movie. And so while you might analyze it and say, well, this should have been this and this should have been that, at the end of the movie you feel good about yourself, because you know that that's the truth. That's the thing that makes life wonderful. And as I've been thinking about different issues regarding love and worth, they kind of came together last night as I watched that movie, and in thinking about the danger of trying to live in the past or live in the future. And of course, that's a mental state, it's not a physical state. Our past is our memories, and we might have good and wonderful memories, or memories we think that if I had only done that a little bit differently, life would be different now. But of course it would. Of course it would be different. But it isn't, and life is what it is. So we can think about the future, and we can think, well, you know, I hope that this happens, or I hope that such and such. And if I do these things, then that can happen. If we can live, and we can live always in the future, we can fail to do what we need to do now in order to enjoy life now. And of course, the negative side of that is our past pains. We can live in our past pains, and they can influence us now terribly negatively. Or we can live in our future fears, which can cause us to live life in a completely defensive and disconnected way. There's a tremendous story in the Old Testament. It's the story of Joseph that has both of those ingredients happening in his life. He has a childhood where he's the loved and the favored child. He has a very bitter memory of rejection by his brothers. He has a dream for the future where he sees himself as being the authority figure for his family and even beyond. But the story unfolds for Joseph that he neither lives in the past nor abdicates to the future. He lives a life that is reflective of who he believes that he is right in that moment. And yes, his dreams inspire him and keep him moving, and yes, the love that he received as a child shaped him, and you can tell that he hasn't completely forgotten about the pain of his past when he kind of sets his brothers up while he's working through how to respond to them. But of course, because he is a person that lives in the moment, he ultimately comes to live out love and grace to his brothers. It is a whole lot easier to live out love and grace in the moment when we are looking at the worth of the other in that moment, and not drawing from our own pain or our own hopes or our own fears or our own past joys, but living in the moment is how we get to live out love and grace. And so my challenge to me, because I can be guilty of both of those sides of the equation, and this is not about disconnecting from our memories or not having hopes. Joseph had both of those. It's about allowing the now to be lived out in the now, in grace and love. And I do hope that we have the opportunity in the days ahead to think about right here, right now, how do I live out love and grace? See you next week.